After battling cancer for 5 years, 16-year-old Eli passed away on the eve of Tisha B'Av. For the following Shabbat, called Shabbos Nachamu, the Shabbat of Comfort, Eli's father Shimon wanted to use his son's siddur, thinking he'd find some additional comfort. On Friday, he spent hours looking all over the house, but the siddur was nowhere to be found. That night, Shimon had a dream that his son showed up in synagogue on Saturday morning. He woke up from the dream heartbroken, knowing that this dream could never come true. When Shimon arrived in shul that morning, all he could think about was seeing Eli in his dream, and that he didn't have his son's siddur to comfort him. The time arrived for Torah reading. A young man was called up to the Torah, and Shimon could have sworn that the young man's name was Eliezer Simcha, his son's name. After the prayer service, Shimon approached the young man and asked, "Did I hear correctly? Is your name Eliezer Simcha?" "Yes," the young man replied. "I go by Alan, but that's my Hebrew name. Look." The young man showed Shimon his siddur that had the name Eliezer Simcha embroidered on the front cover. Shimon broke down crying and said, "That was my son's name. He passed away a week ago, and I couldn't find his siddur to use this Shabbat." The young man handed Shimon the siddur and asked, "Would you like to keep this?" At that moment, Shimon realized that his son's spirit continued to live on in the world. After accepting the siddur, Shimon hugged the young man and thanked him for bringing him comfort during this painful time. We are approaching the day of Tisha B'Av, a day we remember the destruction of our holy temple, as well as the tragedies the Jewish people have experienced throughout history. It is a day of sadness as we mourn what was lost and pray for its return. Every synagogue is considered a mikdash ma'at, a miniature temple. Every time we walk into the sacred space, we are to remember that although the temple is gone, part of its spirit lives on through our synagogues. It was fitting that it was in a synagogue that Shimon was reminded that his son's spirit continues to live on in this world. The soul never dies, and neither does the Shekhinah, God's divine presence that could be felt in this world. And through the experience of being in a synagogue, we can get a taste of the holiness and greatness that once was, and yearn for the Beis HaMikdash, Jerusalem's holy temple, to return in our days. There is a lot that needs to be repaired in the world. This Tisha B'Av, let us keep the memories of the past alive, resolve to bring back the holiness that we've lost, and together take part in the rebuilding of Jerusalem and the Jewish people.